Hey, what's going on? E. Jones, bottom to the top hoops.
It's your boy, Black Elvis. We in the building.
Yes, sir. Want to definitely shout everybody out. Thank you for all of the people who are subscribing, consuming the content on Apple TV, Spotify, and YouTube, and also checking out that BCom TV website. Definitely super dope, man. We got 10.5 subscribers on YouTube, man, and climbing. Big shout out to the cast of Decisions and everybody and the followers and everything that's being produced on BCom TV. Who you want to shout out, El?
Hey, first I want to shout out God. I want to give a shout out to my nephew Mikey with his podcast. I watched it the other day. Good content. So anybody, if you don't know, check out You Gotta Know That TV on YouTube. That's my nephew's.
Yes.
Shout out to him. Shout out to Chad. Shout out to my boy Courts. Keep doing your thing, man.
Yes, definitely. Salute to the young brothers doing their thing, man. Definitely got to check that out this week. All of the people interested, man, go to citylegendshoops.com. Virtual referee class coming up. D. Jones is giving that. Anybody, you can sign up. I believe it's $250 for the course. So it should be dope, man. Definitely go to citylegendshoops.com to check that out. So, Al, we talking NBA playoffs. We talking current events, man. Let me just start by giving you a credit, bro.
Look at the pinky. Look at the pinky.
Yo, Lakers in 5, 3 series straight. Yo, you called it, bro. Congratulations.
Yes,
Kudos. They're going to the chip, man. LeBron's going to his 10th championship, man. How you feeling about your chances versus either the Celtics or Miami?
I'm feeling really good, man. I'm feeling really good. I can't lie. Once Denver knocked the Clippers off, I was like,
you felt like your road to the championship was a little smoother.
Straight ride to the road of riches for a chip.
So, L, now that you guys are headed to the chip, tell me about what's the key for you guys versus the Celtics or versus Miami. What you think the keys to success are?
Did you see how aggressive LeBron has been, especially on those closing out series? I want to see him start off game one like that. If he does that, it's over.
So I think there's a difference in the level of toughness that the Celtics and or the Miami Heat will bring to the table. Do you think that will have an effect on how the Lakers play, or you think they just adjust quick and they just make quick work of them?
I think we're going to make some adjustments. We've been adjusting. If you even seen the last game, the deciding game to get rid of the Nuggets, you've seen the ball pressure. You've seen how they really locked in on homie. And Murray, you can see his game slowed down. He had to give the ball up. And a part of adjusting is saying, we're not going to let him beat us tonight. Somebody else got to beat us.
Yeah, and I think kudos to the Lakers front office for that email to the NBA office, because you guys were getting a ton of fouls. Everybody was in foul trouble. Jokic, and sometimes you call it what you want to call it, but LeBron James only went to the free throw line one time. And the last two deciding games, I mean, hey, I don't agree with it, but at the end of the day, it was effective because those reps, they got the message, and the disparity on fouls was noticeable. So
yeah, definitely.
So I mean, I didn't agree with it, but I'm gonna say this: when I look at Anthony Davis going to the line a ton of times, I look at Jokic, Murray, all of those guys having 5 fouls and being in foul trouble. I say to myself, somebody sent a message, it was received, and they applied whatever it is they talked about, and the Lakers were getting the calls.
Yeah, definitely.
And I guess what I didn't like was the fact that, I want to see the best players compete. I want to see Jokic on the floor, and I want to see the Lakers really take it from him. I want to see Murray on the floor. I want to see their best 5 guys compete and be able to play and not, you know what I mean? Jokic might have played, 29, 30 minutes, and for the money, he's got to play 40 minutes for them to even have a shot. Because starting off, I mean, realistically, the Lakers are just a better team.
Yeah, definitely.
And the better team won.
Absolutely. So let me ask you a question. Who do you feel is coming out of the East?
Well, the reality of it is, I think that Miami has the upper hand. I feel like Boston has the momentum. I do think Boston is the better team. I think Miami's the tougher team.
Absolutely.
So I don't know what's going to win out. Boston's skill, not to say that they're not tough, but I just think Miami's DNA with Jimmy Butler himself, he's the single toughest guy left in the NBA playoffs right now, my opinion.
Absolutely, absolutely. Shout out to Tyler too, man. Hero.
Oh man.
During an interview, when he had an opportunity to speak about himself, he highlighted Jimmy Butler and said, "I do this for Jimmy. You know, Jimmy instills confidence in me every day. He constantly pushes me, and he's had a bad knock as far as the league because he's rough on his players, like his teammates." He said, "No, he pushes you and he gets the best out of you." And that was so awesome for, you know what I mean, his teammate to hold him down because, you know, they make you seem like you're not a good teammate because you're getting traded. That doesn't have to be the case. Sometimes you might not just be a good fit.
And wherever he's gone, he's won.
But wherever he's gone, he's won. So that says a lot about him as a player.
And if you'll just accept him for who he is and buy into, because he's not saying anything wrong. He said, I want everybody to play hard. And when I don't play hard, hold me to the same level of accountability. He's not exempting himself. So I think that some people aren't ready for that level of passion, intensity, and accountability. And he's not for everybody. But what he has shown is he's taken a group of young guys and he's pushed them all the way to potentially an NBA final.
Mm-hmm.
So I would like to see him actually compete for a championship. But, you know, home team, Kemba Walker, I just want to see the Bronx in the chip. So,
yeah, man.
You know, and listen, Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown is showing themselves to be young superstars.
Absolutely.
So it'll be interesting to see what happens in that game 6. L, you know, I wanna keep it on the topic of basketball and how these players have adjusted, because every couple of days it seems like something happens with social injustice. And these guys are obviously affected deeply because part of the reason they came was to push that message. And then they stopped the league and put it on a pause for a couple of days so they could kind of realign and readjust and kind of reorganize and put the messaging back at the forefront. And they did that. You know, shout out to that with the organizing the arenas for voting stations for the election on November 3rd, and voter registration as well prior to the election. And then you get these things that come out, such as the officers not being charged in the Breonna Taylor case. And, you know, we've spoke about it a number of times. We've touched on the fact that, you know, it's 2 justice systems. And obviously the players are affected. And for the stance that we've taken, I guess people are fed up. I know I am. And I want to be able to just offer, you know, maybe a ray of hope or some insight for people to be able to say, okay, I'm out of options. I'm ready to go to war, which at the end of the day doesn't seem like a bad option right now. But if we could share some insight with people on, you know, what you can do or how you could have your voice be heard, you know, what can we do with our platform to just say all hope is not lost?
Okay. Well, E, as far as you know, I'm kind of known between us two to be the one to kind of spaz and, you know, but I want to take a different approach today.
Okay.
You know, I'm looking at it, stepping out of the picture and seeing what's going on. I think it's really more so of a spiritual war we're fighting as well. And one of the reasons why I say that is because when you have a people and they're constantly being pushed and there's constantly no justice and they feel it and they see it, you start to turn on people. You start to now hate. And that's all a part of the devil's plan. That's not God's plan. God wants us to love. And because of the system at the top, I wouldn't even say at the bottom, I'm saying at the top because it's been that way for so long. you know, it starts to affect people, and you have loving people, people that understand why we're on earth. We're on earth to love. Now it's like we're starting to literally hate, because it's like, you hate us. And I think we have to first be in tune with ourselves, and we have to be in tune with what's going on, you know, because at today I look at it, yeah, we're in a bad situation, but at the end of the day, even with the pandemic, you know, I believe a lot of what's going on today is because God wants us to start drawing closer to him.
I think you make a good point, Al, in terms of, you know, people aren't born with hate in their heart. And you start to subscribe to the people who have the same viewpoints politically as you may be. And that person has an influence on you, and you may be a middle person. What I mean by a middle person is you have goodness in your heart, and you genuinely want to do the right thing, but that person who you look up to or idolize is saying, you know what, screw this. We got to make America great again. And if we have to oppress or suppress a certain group of people, that's just what we got to do. They're just going to be casualties of war. And you, as the impressionable young person, or maybe, you know, just looking up at an idol or somebody who you look to for leadership, may say, you know what, you're right. And then that's just one more person who's gone the other way. As opposed to, now I'm on the other side saying, we're oppressed. I'm a Black person. It's clear that there's two sets of a justice system. And I could clearly say, you know what? We're not taking anymore. Screw this. You know what? We're going to war. And anybody who's with me, let's go. So by you saying, L, you know what? I'm going to choose love. And I'm going to use everything in my power to affect the people around me and say, you know what? Don't fall for the banana in the tailpipe. Don't allow yourself to be drawn into this, because now when you go out and you commit a crime, or you go out and do something off emotion, then you're going to be back into the system that's oppressing you anyway. It's set up for you not to get ahead and not to prosper. So now all they want to do is frustrate you to the point where you have no options left and you're in despair. So you start to make decisions based on emotion, and that's never a good place to make a decision from. So
Definitely.
If you're looking for options, love and God is an option that is always a viable one. And if you need answers, the first answer is there.
Absolutely. I mean, let me just say this also. And, you know, America was built on war. America was built on slavery. So it's threaded in America. Do you know how hard it is to take a loose garment when it's threaded together? You gotta destroy it and rebuild it. Until we're ready to do that, we will not see change. Remember I said that. We have to take the system, we have to destroy it and rebuild it.
Literally blow it up. So Isaiah Thomas said in the Constitution, it says for liberty and justice for all. But when you are not a full person and that justice is not being written for you, it wasn't liberty and justice for all. It was liberty and justice for some. And we were not included in the some. So that was the beginning of a document that lives on. So how can we try and repair something that was broken from the onset? So to your point, you're 100% right. We have to start a new norm. We have to write a new constitution. If we're going to say it's for all, then it literally has to be for all. And there has to be some unity amongst people. We have to be in a place where, you know what? God sees no color. Because when the coronavirus comes, it's not just saying, hey, I'm going to take you because you're Asian. or because you're Vietnamese, or because you're Indian. The coronavirus doesn't see any color. So at the end of the day, when your number gets called, you're not being judged based on how much money you have or what you've done in this lifetime in terms of your financial assets. You're being judged on your body of work. So if you have hate in your heart, there's a bigger calling on your life. There's a bigger judgment on your life. So understand, if you're doing the right thing and you feel like, you know what, it's just not working, just keep fighting a good fight and know that you're doing the right things for the right reasons. And, you know, I don't want to come across as a holy roller or with somebody who has the answers to everything. But what I do want to make sure that we do on this show with our platform, there is a higher power, whatever you want to call it, whoever you pray to. And in that higher power, I'm sure most of them start with love. And if you can own and live in that truth and truly mean that and live that for everybody and just not a select few, I think we'll all be in a better space and a better place.
And let me add to that, because that was well put. When you say love, love is not loving you because of what you do, what you bring to the table, or how you make me feel. Because that's when you get love from a person who really hates you. You're entertaining, you make me feel a certain kind of way. You want to know what real love is? One word. You know what that word is?
What's that?
Empathy.
Mm.
You can't talk to me about love if you have no empathy. I recall, I'm not going to even go in detail, but I recall listening to like a Malcolm, and it was crazy how he would just talk, and I would be so bugged out, but he said it's because of empathy. There's no empathy. And when you look at the world, you know, how could we possibly see the whole situation, like we said with the Breonna Taylor thing, and the people up top are not saying, guys, we have to do something. We can't just, even if you lie to us, make us think something. But the way they handle it is the typical way they go about it. It shoves some money to them, and they'll go away. They'll be quiet, you know. And, go ahead, you had something to say?
Empathy is the highest form of intelligence, because at the end of the day, it's a genuine concern. And there's another word called altruism. And altruism means a genuine concern for the well-being of others. You know, when you talk about those words like empathy and altruism and selflessness, it speaks to the betterment of somebody else. And when you don't start with self in terms of benefit, you can be in a better place. And I think, you know, we're all taught you got to get yours, right?
I'm going.
And I think that if I want to see you win, ultimately, if I can get pleasure from that, I have a different level of understanding and fulfillment, and then mine will come to me, whatever that's supposed to be, because I wanted to see you win. And I don't do everything right, but I know one thing: I've always put the needs of others in front of myself. And for that, I've been extremely blessed, and I'm so ever grateful and thankful, because I was taught that. And in my truest form of who I am as a person, that's who I am at the core of me.
Absolutely. And you live it. I got to give you your credit. You live it.
And at the end of the day, that doesn't mean we're without flaw, that we don't make mistakes, or, you know, we jump on our soapbox and we give opinions and thoughts about sports and alike. But at the end of the day, I just genuinely want to see my brother and sister, whether white, black, Chinese, whatever, I want to see the people next to me win. So, you know, listen, start with love, exercise your right to vote, make sure the people who are putting policies in place, you are well educated for the November 3rd election, for who is your congressman, who are your assemblymen, who are your district leaders. Read up. Don't just check the box because they're a part of your party. Know who you're voting for, what they stand for, and if they're supporting what it is that you believe in and what you need for your community.
Yeah, let me say this too, E. One of the biggest wolves that can be pulled over on the people is to make the people think that president runs the United States. He's a face.
Yeah.
And he's a mouthpiece.
Yeah.
And where we're all going wrong is we're constantly pointing the finger at Trump, but that's what they want. It's about our congressmen. It's about the Senate. It's about the people, the legislators, the people who really make the laws.
Yeah.
Those are the people that we need to hold accountable. Everybody's saying Trump, Trump, Trump. Yeah, but Trump is the chief in command. That's it. He's the command. Like, he's the face.
Yeah.
And that's why I said earlier, we have to restructure. Because another thing, and I'm going to leave off with this. Everybody's making it about black and white, blue and red. But at the end of the day, who is really demanding these laws for us? Who's doing that? We're automatically saying because you're black or because you fall into a certain tax bracket, you're a Democrat. No, you're supposed to go with the party who is going to hold you down and make changes for you. And us as the people with our vote, we are supposed to utilize that to see and make changes. Like, people are not even being intelligent right now. Right. And that bothers me because they've made it where it's red and blue, Republicans and Democrats. So it's becoming more black and white than what is your party going to do for us?
And you as an individual in the community that you live in and that you serve. Man, one of the biggest things that we have as a responsibility with people who have a voice that, you know, people consume our content, I think, is to give information to be able to help people. And, you know, I know folks want to hear us talk sports. I know they want to hear insight, and we're going to give you plenty of that. And we veered off the subject on a couple of shows, but I think it's necessary. We appreciate all of the positive feedback.
Yes.
At the end of the day, this is, you know, they always say it, this is the most important election of our lives. And it is. And it will be on the next one. So if we have an opportunity to speak to that, you know, just understand the place that we're coming from, that we want to be a part of the change in whatever way that we can be. That's our responsibility. And hopefully, you know, we've done honor to that and represented the people who listen to us and respect us in the right way. So with that being said, thank you, El, for sharing your perspective.
Thank you.
Shout out to the team, Jerry Ice, D Jones, City Legends. Make sure you check us out, Apple TV, Spotify, YouTube, BCom TV. Who you shouting out, El?
You already know. Shout out to the team. More importantly, shout out to God, because he brings the team.
Peace.
Yeah.